everyone, welcome back to the reading rules. Thank you so much for joining me again. Today we're going to be covering rule number 2 and reviewing first rule number 1. I do want to state that rules 1 and 2 are very common rules actually. They're widely known rules, so to speak, when it comes to reading in English, and they're nothing really new. But the rest of the rules you will see and we'll find are very unique in that the thing that makes the reading rules that different after these first 2 rules are the characters themselves make the sound that you hear in the rules. And the rules are not centered around focusing on all the words or one word that contains that rule, but rather the character itself. So hopefully that will become clear the more you study, the more that you observe what's going on here. Today I would like to start with a centering process. Those of you USMers that are out there, University of Santa Monica, peace, good to have you. Hopefully a lot of kids, grandkids are learning from this program. Will relate to this, but we always start with a centering process. Feel free to join in or not. As a classroom teacher, I've always done this with my students. They love it. Prior to taking tests or anything really important where I need their attention, focused attention, it really seems to help. So here we go. We start with center yourself in yourself. Invoke your inner counselor. I got this. That's what we say in class. Clarify our class intention. We got this. And then we'd high five our neighbors. And if you like, ask for Spirit's assistance. And when we're ready, begin. So that centering process for me is very important. I would like to also state my intention, as always, is to erase illiteracy and to help anyone out there with successful, quick, masterful reading and just mastery of the English language. So starting with rule number 1, reviewing, here we are with rule number 1. Rule number 1 was, again, sneaky E, just going backwards, and hopefully you can remember what rule number 1 was. Sneaky E affects the other vowels in a word. When there's an E at the end, the vowel says its name. Okay, so that's sneaky E. Little quick review of those words. Bride 1. Make sure and say the rule number. Go ahead. Square 1. Shine 1. Frame 1. Amusement 1. Skate 1. Spine 1. White 1. I think I got one more, and that's it. So that's rule number 1. If those were difficult in any way or confusing, please go back to the first reading rules, rule number 1, and review that until all words are mastered. So today, rule number 2, again, this is a common rule and it has to do with vowels again. A, I, E, I, E, A, I, E, O, A, and U, I. And we're going to say that these rules, these vowels, these combinations of vowels are actually playing a game. Okay, this rule can be stated in different ways. The reading rule states it. Rule number 2, when 2 vowels play a game, the first one says its name, and the second one stays quiet. Okay, so once again, when 2 vowels play a game, the first one says its name, and the second one stays quiet. So very important to repeat that. Really let it settle in so you understand what's going on there. when two vowels play a game, two vowels playing a game here, A and I. The first one says his name, I'm an A, and the second one stays quiet. Two vowels play a game. The first one says its name, I'm an E, and the second one stays quiet. So that second vowel actually is silent. And if we didn't have a rule for that, I can show you what would happen here. Here's the list of reading rules, reading rule cards for rule number 2. This first word is, if I was sounding it out phonetically with the 26 letter sounds, most students would say g, a, at, got at, which is not correct. But if we apply rule number 2, say it out loud. When two vowels play a game, the first one says his name, and the second one, we'll cover that, stays quiet. When two vowels play a game, the first one says his name, I'm an O, and the second one stays quiet. So if he says I'm an O, his name, the word is going to become g, o, t, goat. Okay, rule number 2, make sure you say 2 after it. All right, let's try the next one. So remember, just say the first vowel's name when sounding it out, second one stays quiet. When two vowels play a game, the first one says its name, the second one stays quiet. So we have grain, grain, grain. You hear it, there's no sound coming from the I whatsoever anytime two vowels are playing a game. So that's grain 2. Let's go on to the next. It's a compound word, so actually you can see rule number 2, the colors are very important, the numbers are very important. We have 2 sets of vowels playing a game in this one. So because of that, each time the first one is going to say its name, the second one will stay quiet. First one will say its name, I'm a, and the second one will stay quiet. So in a compound word, we can chop that in half, and that would be, and put together, oatmeal. Oatmeal. If we didn't have a rule for that, it would be at me'al, which is incorrect. So we got oatmeal 2. Okay, let's try some others here. Paint 2. Chain 2. Moan 2. Tricky one here. Starting at the beginning. Here's the beginning. Acquaint 2. Acquaint 2. Nail 2. Make sure you're saying the number, very important. Stain 2. Brain 2. Back to goat 2, right? Try some more. Moan 2. East 2. Please 2. Train 2. Float 2. Appear 2. Cream 2. Steal 2. Release 2. Or it can be pronounced release 2. Slight difference there, long E or short E in English. Either way, people say it both ways. We're going to say release 2. Grease 2. Okay, and back to moan 2. All right, that is rule number 2. So the first two rules, I encourage you to go back and review those. I will be reviewing before each new lesson to make sure that the previous learning was not lost. But I really appreciate you coming and viewing me and joining me. Please feel free to give me any feedback. I am encouraged by any communication that can help me better the program. I am thereadingrules@gmail.com, the Reading Rules at Twitter, and the Reading Rules Facebook. Please also, in addition, if you could like these videos, encourage anyone that you know that has kids, that has friends, anyone in need of literacy to watch these videos. You will quickly see that this program is very different than anything else that's out there, and it's very effective. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.